All right, welcome to Paladin Financial Talk. I'm your host, Nikki Foley, and welcome to our series on spring cleaning. So we started this last week with my brother, Matt Bryant, and he brought in just some very general topics as it relates to financial spring cleaning. But today's episode is titled The Gentle Declutter, End of Life Preparation. So you can see where I'm going with this, but I want to go ahead and bring us in with our co-host today, Mr. Tony Shore. Welcome, Tony Shore.
Yeah, great to be here. I thought Matt did a great job last week.
It was.
But you've really outdone it with this title, The Gentle Declutter, End of Life Preparation.
Yeah, doesn't that feel like nice and kind of soft?
Soothing.
It's kind of an intense topic, right?
It is,
So we're gonna soften it a little bit,
Yeah.
and do the best that we can to make it feel good.
I think that's awesome.
I don't know if we'll accomplish that, but we do have a guest with us today here as well.
Excellent.
Tony.
Introduce our guest, Nikki.
All right. So today we have one of our summer interns with us. Her name is Miss Sondra Sarti. So happy to have Sandra with us. I'll tell you, I met Sandra when she was 15, and she has now graduated from high school. She's going into her senior year of college. So I don't want to steal the thunder, but she is one of our interns. And I'm going to why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you?
Yeah, I'm a rising senior at the University of Georgia, but born and raised here. I live right down the street from Nikki. I'm majoring in marketing and international business, minor in Spanish. Not totally sure what I want to do, but this internship has been great to help me look into the different options out there and finance and everything around it.
Yes. So Sandra just got back from Barcelona, Spain. She had the opportunity to study abroad. And when she was over there, we were making plans for the summer. And like Sandra said, she's been a part of our world for a number of years here with our kids. And so her and I were on a call when she was over there, and she's like, I feel like I need to get some more experience. I said, I absolutely have an answer for you. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah. So Sandra will spend about 6 weeks with us here in the office, and then a couple weeks later on towards the end of the summer as well. And so certainly excited to have her. And so she's going to chime in as she feels like she can contribute if she wants to. But let's go ahead and get going with this topic, if that sounds good. And so I believe it's one that people oftentimes, I don't think it gets enough attention in general, end of life planning. I think it's one that sometimes people just shy away from. They simply don't want to have the conversation, or for whatever reason it is, they don't take action on it. And today I want to bring the attention to living solo, though. People that are not married, because it gets a little more complicated when you are an individual that's not married. And so for our listeners, I think that's important to say this may not be you, but it could be a friend, a neighbor. It could be somebody that is potentially a parent. It could be a grandkid. You think about all the...
Yeah, a family member, yeah.
You got it. You likely know somebody right now that it is single, either by choice, widowed, divorced, could be a lot of things, but are living independently. And so this episode is for you.
Yeah.
All right.
I think this sounds like a great topic.
And why I bring attention to somebody that is living independently, because oftentimes if you are in a married situation, it's not as complicated. It's when you have to have somebody else take ownership of all your things, all your assets, when it gets to be more complicated. So let's just start with like the basic why is when you don't have a traditional next of kin handling everything after you're gone, you have to make some decisions now, so that protects, your legacy, ensures that the things that you actually want to be carried out get carried out. And ultimately, you're trying to reduce the burden on your family, your friends, and so forth. And so, of course, I have to say the why of why I'm bringing this up. I think you guys know that we lost, Matt and I lost our brother in late February. He passed away at age 48. Not married, single, no kids. And so somebody at 48 certainly doesn't expect to pass away.
No.
And so you think you have time. And the reality is once something like that happens, somebody young in your life passes away, guess what starts pinging up in front of you everywhere you're at? It's articles that say people are passing away younger, they're running into, could be a variety of health issues, but it's happening more common. And so I want to bring that into this as well, is the reality is people are having situations that either they're passing away at a younger age, or they're incapacitated and they can't make decisions. And so it is more relevant than ever before to be having the conversation about bringing in some of this planning. So let's talk about some of the essentials that you might need along the way here. And I think you can boil it down to Ideally, everybody says do a trust and a will, right? How many times does that stuff actually get in place?
My parents are a great example. They've been married for 25 years and haven't set one up yet. And I'm bugging them now, like put me in there. So
Exactly. And I know
Yep.
my mom passed away early. She passed away 6 years ago, but they didn't get a lot of that stuff done until they knew that she was going to pass. And I think that is really human nature for that to happen. So
My parents were in their 70s, and I finally went down there and said, we're meeting with an attorney. You're doing this. So
you look at us, just the three of us, and every single one of us, our situation with our parents is they've waited until later in life or when something has happened. So a will, basically what it's going to do, it's going to state your intentions. So hopefully that you can bypass the probate process. Can't even talk today.
Process.
Yes. And so it's the state isn't going to decide everything for you. But let's even boil it down. If you don't want to take that step, you can even make it simpler than that. And other things that you can do ahead of time is get your healthcare directive in place and get your financial power of attorney in place. And those are or can be no cost. You can honestly go online, Google those items and fill something out. And it's very, very inexpensive. I'm going to put another thing in there as well is transfer on death deed. And so if you have a property and you are single, that is going to have to go through the probate process unless you have a transfer on death deed. And so just some basic pieces of paper saves a lot of headache along the way. And I'll use the probate process. Like as an example, my brother had properties in 4 states. How many states are we going through probate?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go through probate in 4 different states.
Yeah.
Imagine all the attorney fees, the court fees, the cost of that, the logistics, the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
So those are the things that like he was an organized individual, had a lot of things in order, but it's a simple piece of paper. If we can just get some basics done, especially if you are independent, then it makes a big difference versus whether you're married or not. A lot of times people don't take actions because, my spouse is just, no problem. We're probably not going to pass away at the same time.
Did he have children?
No children. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
That simplifies things in one sense, but at the same time,
puts it all on Nikki.
Yeah.
It's on Nikki. Yeah.
It falls to your family members. And that actually drives us right into the next conversation is, so he passes away and none of us as siblings or as parents really know what his wishes are. Fortunately and unfortunately is, we had lost our mom, and then 6 months later we lost our grandpa. And then it wasn't much longer after that we lost a grandma. And those happened to be Jason's, those were kind of his 3 people, my brother's 3 people. And so a lot of good conversation had come around the, planning for those services and wishes and things that had happened. And so he happened to have one of his good friends that he was chatting with on a car drive around one of the funerals and started sharing some of his wishes. So we were in a beautiful spot that he had just, shared a few of his wishes, wanted to be buried in his Navy suit, basic things. He was funny about it. He was a very funny individual. And so he told, this a friend of his, what he wanted at the meal to be served. And he was just rattling away. Most people don't write those things down. They don't never have a chance to have those conversations. And so to give some instructions are important. And you think about the burial. A lot of times people don't make decisions on where they might want to be married.
That's true.
The cremation, or if they want, to actually be buried, or if they want their ashes, buried. I mean, gosh, it gets to be a lot when you start thinking about that level of detail.
Yeah.
And so many people just don't document it.
And you don't want to leave your loved ones in a bad situation, so get it done, right?
Yeah.
But like you say, we all put it off, and no one plans on passing that early, right? And then we hear about celebrities all the time that this has happened to. Prince from right here in Minnesota. I mean, what a mess that left, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would say the final piece, especially as you're talking about your being an individual, who else is on your accounts? And so when somebody goes, oftentimes, nobody's on your account. Most times people don't give their Gmail login to somebody else, or they don't, you don't pass out, your passwords to people. But you have to think about what might be a good place for you to share where you keep private information or how you have things set up. So are you an individual that generally auto pays everything? Are you somebody that uses a credit card to get the points and then you pay it off? It's like general tendencies help people. And so I know, like, as an example, one of my good friends, they pay everything on a credit card and then they write one bill at the end of the month. But other people, like, how many bank accounts do you have? Do you have one bank account? Do you have two bank accounts? Do you have three bank accounts? Is pretty much everything on auto withdraw? Do you pay things by check? Like, do you log in and do everything? It's like general tendencies. If you can share that with people, even if you don't want to give specifics, or create a spreadsheet for your family of this is how I pay all of my stuff. Like, those things help a lot. If not, you are scouring through credit card statements to find consistency or recurring things. And it just really cuts down on the amount of time somebody is going to actually spend figuring out how you function as an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of to recap the essentials, even if you are not ready to take the step of doing a will or trust, if you can get the basic 3 documents of a healthcare directive, a financial power of attorney, and a transfer on death, if you do own a property, a transfer on death deed, getting those done are really essential to functioning in the event that you're incapacitated or that you pass.
But a will is helpful too, because it provides direction for not only the court if it goes to probate, but it's direction for the family.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you can write down some of your instructions of what you would like to see your memorial service look like, burial, if you can go ahead and maybe pre-purchase a plot, like giving some level of instruction would be fantastic, and letting somebody know where you have put that, or even verbally sharing it with somebody, that helps significantly. Also, how you function in today's world, like paying your bills and basic things like that, how many bank accounts you have, just general information like that is very helpful as well. And then, of course, because we're talking financial, and this is something that we do with all of our clients when we meet on an annual basis, is making sure your beneficiaries are done. And if you lose a parent somewhere along the way, making sure they come off of your account and you replace the beneficiary, of just keeping your house in order from the financial accounts that you have, and potentially consolidating so you don't have, old 401ks still lingering out there and some of those things. And that's our regular annual review conversations that we have at our office.
Yeah, it's so important. And again, these things aren't that difficult to get in order. You just need some discipline to get it done, or maybe some encouragement. And you need to have a place where you can store the important things and share them with the right people, correct?
Absolutely, Tony. Good points on all of those. And so partially our job as a financial planner is somewhat just being a quarterback of keeping these topics in front of them, and the accountability that goes along with just having somebody alongside of you.
I had never thought about it until this past couple of weeks, and then I bugged my parents about it, and they're getting on it right now.
That's good.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to be able to be where you have potentially somebody else, being your quarterback and helping keep you accountable. And so from there, really, this is a pretty common emotional conversation for people that they hesitate to have. And so part of this is just getting the emotional truth and the headspace right, that I know I need to have these conversations. I know I need to take action. And that's something that, again, maybe you need a quarterback alongside of you, or maybe you have just somebody trusted in your world that you want to have those conversations and that can help you navigate that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the highlights of this, and it can be certainly a heavy topic, but it doesn't have to be. If you can get yourselves more into the logistic mindset and not so much of the emotional mindset, and taking a step back, really, you have your action list from our conversation today.
Oh, that's great. And this is such an important topic. Nikki, I'm glad you brought it to our attention. And Sandra, great to see you and meet you on the show. It was fantastic. Well. This has been a good one. Before we go, you have a place, the importance of storing passwords where people can access them. You have something called the Generational Vault, where your clients can store things like that, and their family will have access if something should happen. So how can our listeners get a hold of you to get a plan in place and use some of those tools?
Yep, absolutely. Well, paladinfinancial.com is our website, and it really covers all of the high level that we've talked about today, and some of the legacy planning side of things. We are at 842-8406. That's how you can reach us. But follow us this month as we talk about some of our spring cleanup. This is just one of the topics that we'll cover over the next 4 weeks here. And listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all the major areas that you can find us on social media. So thank you guys for participating. Hopefully we gave some good tips and tricks today, and we look forward to our next show.
All right. Thank you so much, Nikki. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk.